This is the Alden Report.
All right. Well, my name is Michael Alden, and this is the Alden Report. You know, it is 2021. It is the first Monday of 2021, and we're starting it off with a bang. You know, I am super, super excited for my next guest. My next guest is a New York Times bestselling author. He is a social media icon. He is a real estate tycoon with over 2.2 billion in assets under management, and he's been doing things for a long time, and he's changing people's lives all over the world. He is also the star of Undercover Billionaire, which is premiering this Wednesday on the Discovery Channel. Please help me welcome Mr. Grant Cardone. Grant, thanks so much for being my guest.
Brother, thank you. I appreciate you sharing this information with your audience, and love what you're doing.
You know, again, you've been on before. It's your second time on. So for those who are listening, who are watching, if they don't know who you are, then they've probably been living under a rock, or they just maybe they've never been on Instagram or never walked into a bookstore. But so I'm just going to jump right into it. So again, you've written, some great books. The 10X Rule, which I know we're going to do a special offer later on for our viewers and listeners. But let's just get right into what you got going on right now. So you're the star of this show called Undercover Billionaire. I believe it's the second season on the Discovery Channel. Tell us, I'd like to first know about how did you get that deal? Now, before you answer, I know that you were also on the show with Joan Rivers called How'd You Get So Rich back in the day, but how do you get a deal with the Discovery Network and become one of the undercover billionaires?
Well, Discovery didn't know anything about me, but the production company that produced Undercover Billionaire for Discovery last year, 2019, actually, with Glenn Stearns. Glenn Stearns is a very, very successful mortgage guy, king in mortgages. He owns a company called Kion Lending now. But they went to him and said, "Hey, Glenn, would you do this show?" It was a hit for Discovery last year. If you haven't seen it, you should. Every entrepreneur, every business owner should watch it, because basically it's a show about this guy that gets dropped off in a city. They take away his name, give him $100 in an old truck, and his goal is to turn it into $1 million business. He doesn't make it. He doesn't actually hit the $1 million valuation. But I saw the show. I get a phone call from a production company that said, "Hey, we ran into you on YouTube. We think you're perfect for the show. Would you do it?" And I'm like, "Man, I don't know. I saw the show. I don't know if I'd do it. It's fucking, it's 90 days in a city I've never been to. Can't use my name. Can't use any of my contacts. Can't use my money, my credit. I have no place to live or eat. I have no food to eat when you get there, and you got to start over." And I went back and watched the show, called them back up and said, "I'll do the show." I talked to my wife. I said, "I'll do the show." I said, "It's got to play this year, actually 2020. It's got to play in 2020. They agreed to that. And then, and I said, "You guys have to pick me up when I finished my growth conference." There was a period of time that I had opened.
Right.
Pre-COVID, Mike. So COVID hadn't happened yet. It was late February. I just finished my growth conference. I was on stage with Kevin Hart. So part of the deal was you guys have to pick it up where I'm leaving my conference.
Now, this is the conference that was held in Miami, which you filled Marlins Stadium with 34,000 people, correct?
Yeah. Well, this is the one in Vegas, actually. The one Vegas.
Okay.
There's 12,000 people there. I was on stage with Kevin Hart and Floyd Mayweather and all these guys that came and spoke at the conference. And
only 12,000.
Yeah, 12,400 people. All of them paid, by the way. No,
right,
no.
Right.
And so we left Vegas. They tell the pilots where to bring the plane to. I say goodbye to my kid.
So you don't know where you're going. They're just going to, this is like, it's almost like Survivor in a way, but you literally just get dropped off in a city that you don't know the city.
I've never been to the city. I don't know the city. I don't know that I've never been there.
Right.
I don't know until I get there. We flew into Lamar, Colorado, 2 hours outside of Pueblo, Colorado, which I've never been to either one of those. And, it was late February. It was fucking 15 degrees outside. 3:30 in the afternoon we got there. And there's only 3 hours of light left, and I don't have a place to sleep. I shaved my head so that I wouldn't be recognized. I grew out a beard, And then I got 90 days to build $1 million business with no money. Hardest thing I've ever done in my whole life. And I'm going to tell you why I did it. I did it because the number one question people ask me today, no matter where we go, whether I'm in Cincinnati or Singapore, they're like, if you lost everything, what would you do? And this show gave me a platform where I don't have to tell people what to do. I can just like watch the show, and I'm going to show you.
So you were, again, so this show, the premise of the show, you're getting dropped off in an area that you may or may not have been to, but you don't know where you're going. You get dropped off there. Again, it reminds me of it's like Survivor and Naked and Afraid in a way, although you do have your clothes at least. So you get dropped off in this town and you have what, $100 in cash?
I have $100 in cash and an old truck. They give me an old truck and a new phone.
Okay. All right. So you had those two things at least. All right. So it's like, again, it's like Survivor having maybe the fire starter and maybe a bucket to boil some water. So at least you got two things to go with.
Yeah,
so,
but the difference is I have to build $1 million business in 90 days or I'm going to pay $1 million.
See, that's the part that, I mean, that's the part that's crazy to me. I know you talked a little bit about it. We were on this other app yesterday called Clubhouse. We went on to talk about, I mean, we can talk about it maybe later, but, and you had mentioned that. So you get dropped off the $100, you get the truck, you get the phone, and you need to build $1 million business in 90 days. Or if you don't, you have to pay $1 million. Is that the deal?
If I come up short, Glenn Stearns kind of set the standard on that because he made that bet. So I'm like, okay, I'll make the bet. If I come up short now, just so everybody knows, Glenn's not out teaching and educating people that they can do it. Like that's not his deal. I am. So not only is the $1 million at risk, but my brand's at risk. The other thing that's at risk is like, I know everybody's going to be like, what about the 10X, man? Shit, what about 10X, Mr. 10X? So when I went there, the target was not $1 million. It was 10 million to build a $10 million business in 90 days with no dough and no contacts.
So here's my question. In your real life, which this was your real life, right? It's a reality TV, but it was real. Have you ever built any business in your career in 90 days greater than $1 million?
No. To me, no, it's impossible, dude. I had no. I've never ever done that.
Now, how long of time did you have to do this? Was it? I mean, I know you just said 90 days, but like when you, how much time did you have to mentally prepare for it? So you're like, all right, I know I'm doing this, so maybe your head starts to think like, all right, these are the things I'm going to do. How much time did you have to prepare?
They called me in second week in January, and asked me if I could do it. And I had made a decision by the end of January. February 25th or so, I was dropped off 25 days later.
So this was right when kind of COVID started to...
COVID would happen 10 or 11 days, or I think the 13th day after I got there, we had to shut production down. Right when I was getting a little bit of momentum. This happens to a lot of business owners too. You get a little bit going, something's going, and boom, something hits you out of nowhere. In my case, it was COVID. So the whole project was shut down for 2.5 months.
Did you have, again, we're not going to give away too much of what's going on the show, which again premieres this Wednesday, January 6th, I believe, right? On the Discovery Network. I think it was at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I think it's 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Standard Time. I don't.
Check it out on Discovery. They also have an app that they've released as well. So did you have an idea of what, like, I mean, real estate's your thing, right? I mean, you're a marketer, you sell books and you sell some other programs, but did you have an idea of kind of like what sort of business you wanted to get involved? Because $100, like, I mean, my mind is, I can't wait to watch this, but $100.
How long did you live on $100, right?
Yeah. I mean, like I have trouble, trying to put myself on a budget to, for $100 a week for coffee.
Yeah.
Right. So
do anybody that's ever used money as an excuse, like I don't have any money, I don't have the money, it takes money to make money. You should watch this show because I'm going to crash that concept forever. You will never, ever use you're broke as your excuse because I'm going to show you guys it has nothing to do with money. In fact, I'll just give you a little, what's it called when you spoiler.
A little teaser, a little spoiler.
Spoiler. I don't spend any money for 10 days, not one penny.
All right. Well, yeah, we're gonna have to figure that. I mean, maybe he's eating off the lamb, right? We're not really sure what he's doing, but you know what? I know we don't have a lot of time, so I know you're gonna do something special for our
Ants when they're smoked ants are delicious and provide great protein.
I was gonna say a lot of protein. We learned that from Survivor, Naked and Afraid. Again, I know our viewers and listeners. I know we're gonna do something special, and so listen. We're on with Grant Cardone. He is the star of Undercover Billionaire that premieres this Wednesday, 8 p.m. on the Discovery Network. He's a New York Times bestselling author. I mean, again, if you're anywhere on social media, he's everywhere. You can just find Grant Cardone. But we're gonna do something special. So here's what I'm gonna do. I didn't even tell Grant we're gonna do this. If you go ahead and text 97 to the number 978-999-3113. Text the name Grant again to 978-999-3113. Grant's going to give you something special. But here's the other thing too. I'm actually, again, Grant didn't know I'm doing this. I'm actually going to do something special as well, because my first book, which was titled Ask More, Get More, I saw Grant's, one of Grant's books. I believe it was Sell or Be Sold. And I saw his publisher and who it was. And I said, if it's good enough for Grant Cardone, that's good enough for me. And that was my first book, which also, by the way, got me on your show, Power Players. So I'm also going to give away something as well. It's related to Ask More, Get More. So again, text Grant to 978-999-3113. You're going to get something special for the viewers and the listeners of the Alden Report. So, okay, one of the things too that we talked about yesterday, your wife was on this as well. We were on Clubhouse, and you talked a little bit about 2008, and I think this might have given you some of the. I mean, you have amazing mental fortitude as it is anyway, but 2008, the world gets rocked. You get rocked. Tell us a little bit about that moment for you, because I think there's probably some correlations between what you just went through.
Yeah, so 2008 was devastating to me, like so many families in America. It was like very revealing that years of hard work and discipline and not overspending and just paying down debt and just saving money really didn't prove to protect anyone. So you didn't have to be over mortgaged on your home to lose stuff. I had 3 businesses at the time. The first 2 got cut in half, like they were destroyed. And the third one, the real estate, all my real estate was frozen, even though it had nothing to do with the mortgage crisis or single family homes. So, back in 2008, I made a decision, dude. I'm like, this will never happen to me again. And I said, the next 2008, which is COVID, COVID, by the way, is probably just a preliminary. It's just a warning for America to like what's going to happen next, the next one.
Right.
Because the government's, basically,
just printing money. They're just printing money.
It's just like, it's softened the blow for everybody. Right. But this time the difference was in 2008, 1, I put my family at risk. 2, I put myself at risk. 3, I was not in a position to take advantage of it. So that was 12 years ago. I wrote the 10X rule. The 10X rule is what I want to give your audience for free. It's a book called the 10X rule. It will show you exactly how to make sure you're never in a situation where you get decimated because of events beyond your control. 12 years ago, I told my wife, I said, this will never happen to us ever again. The next time this happens, most importantly, we will be able to take advantage of it. It will be an opportunity, not a problem, which I think a lot of people miss. I don't want that to happen to me again. No. You want it to happen again, but you want to be able to take advantage of it next time. And this time we were able to take advantage of it. Not only was I shooting this show while I was doing it, my other businesses, the 5 businesses that we have today, had their most profitable year while I wasn't even there. Mid-COVID, while I did this show, while I did the hardest thing I've ever done in my whole life was this show that premieres Wednesday night. And for you guys that hate reality TV, this is real reality. Like even the crew, Discovery and I had some big, like blow down, like fights. Like they're like, you got to stop, man. I'm like, stop what? They're like, you got to slow down, dude. Like this is a TV show. I'm like, fuck a TV show, dude. I got $1 million. I bet $1 million on this. I got my brand is on this. I have to prove to myself, my family in America and my customers that the American dream is alive and well. Otherwise I lose my brand gets destroyed here. Cause nobody, if I don't hit my targets, And if I can't prove this works, my book sales are going to get killed. Our 10X growth conference will get destroyed. Like I can't. I've been telling people I'm the best for years, and now I'm going to show up, and there's no excuses for failing here.
You know, what's interesting too about this is that, okay, so, I mean, when people see you, we've talked about this before, and I've heard you talk about this before. When people see you, they see Grant Cardone, they see the jets, they see the Rollses, they see, you know, the houses, they see all this stuff. They see the watches, which, by the way, I'll tell you a little bit about this watch. It's pronounced Hublot, but when I was on your show, I pronounced it Hublot. So we'll tell you about why I got this watch, because you have a lot to do with it. But they see all this stuff, and they see, well, he's a billionaire, he's a 100 million or whatever the number is. He's got everything. He's got nothing to worry about. But what's interesting is, and that may well be true for most people compared to like your lifestyle. But what you did is you put yourself literally in the shoes of most Americans and didn't know that a worldwide pandemic was going to happen, right? I mean, whatever happens, I'm excited to see the show. Because we can't reveal what happened, but I mean, you put yourself in the shoes of the average everyday American, and not only that, but even people like below the poverty level, and
it got dropped off in a city that is below the poverty level.
Right.
The city that I get dropped off to is Pueblo, Colorado. If you look up the average income of Pueblo, you'll be like, dude, like you can't go into a lot of environments worse than that. I think the average income there is $24,000 to $28,000 a year for two people. So like you're talking poverty level stuff, right? And it's one thing being dropped off in a city where there's opportunity. It's another one where there's like devastation. That little town has been beat up for 100 years since Rockefeller went in and raped it, basically. And I went in there. I'm gonna put Pueblo back on the map. I woke Pueblo up. The companies there we created an unbelievable business there. I didn't hit my target. Another spoiler. I didn't hit my target.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
But I think everybody will say, dude, if that guy could create what he did, if he can do that in that period of time while COVID's going down with all the other distractions in the world, lost restaurants, can't be in a restaurant, can't do the bar, can't call on car dealers because car dealers know me. I can't do a lot in the real estate business because real estate people know me. But if you watch it, when you watch it, you're going to see, hey, I can't say the American dream's not alive and well because I couldn't use my name, couldn't use my contacts, couldn't use my credit, couldn't use any money, can't call any of my buddies. And I was just like everybody else, except I couldn't use my name and you guys can.
And you were worse off actually than most. In a second, I want to talk to you about, and again, I know we don't have a ton of time. You're doing a lot of promotion for this, but I want to talk to you about maybe there were some things, maybe the top 3 things that you kind of got you through, or maybe the top 3 things that only got you through, but really pretty much anybody can use to kind of get them through adversity. In a second, again, folks, we're on with Grant Cardone. Again, if you don't know Grant, then you've probably been living under a rock for the past 15 to 20 years. I mean, he's been doing all sorts of things. He's got $2.2 billion of real estate assets under management. He's a New York Times bestselling author. He's a social media rock star. He is a mentor of mine. I look up to this guy. I want to play on the level of Grant Cardone someday. So here's what he's going to do. He'll do something special. He's actually going to give away his book, The 10X Rule. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to text Grant, Grant, to 978-999-3113. Again, text Grant to 978-999-3113. We're going to send you a special link where you're going to get his book, The 10X Rule. But I'm going to add on to that. I'm going to do something a little special as well. I'm also going to give you my book, Ask More, Get More. And it's my first book, but it's special to me for a whole host of reasons. But one of the biggest reasons is Grant and I connected because of my book, Ask More, Get More. And so I want to give that away to you as well. So, all right, Grant. So, all right, 3 things. Maybe they're not 3 and 4. Maybe there's 1 or 2. So you're there again. You're below the poverty level. You're poorer than poor. You have nowhere to live. You have nothing to eat. You have $100. You have a beat up truck. You do have a phone, which is great. But again, you can't use your name. Can't use your credit. Can't use credit cards. And your goal.
No government assistance. By the way.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So what do you do?
Shelters. I can't use shelters. I can't use the government system.
Why couldn't you use shelters? Was that part of the rule?
No, because dude, I can't take somebody's bed.
That's true. Yeah. So what do you do? So how does someone watch this show? Because again, I can't wait to see it. But again, I know you, and a lot of people again who see you and they see the things. I've been to your offices. I've seen your cars up front, up close. I know they're real. So they see you again. They think it's just not. It's so like just not attainable to get to your level, and which is fine. Nobody needs to get to Grant Cardone's level, but the levels that people can get to can change their lives and have them set for life pretty quickly. So what do you do when you dropped off in Pueblo, Colorado? What are the things that anybody can do to kind of change their life?
Yeah, what you do is you got to clarify the target. You got to clarify what is the target here. So I'll give you another little spoiler. First thing I did when I got to town was the Discovery was like, what's the first thing you're going to do when you get there? I said, we're going to go to the bank. And they're like, why are you going to the bank? You only have $100. I said, yeah, I know. And they're like, why are we going to the bank? I'm like, I need to get rid of the $100. And they're like, you're going to need that 100. I said, no, you need the 100. I don't.
Now, was it $100 bill?
They were confused. They were like, I said, guys, you didn't tell me I had to tell you what I was going to do. You said you guys were going to follow me around and watch me turn no money into $1 million business. So turn your shit on, turn your cameras on, get your motherfucking batteries out, get your backpacks on, get your tennis shoes ready, because you guys are going, I'm going to wear you motherfuckers out. So just let's go. Let's go. And they're like, but what are you going to do when you get there? I'm going to go to the bank and drop off the $100. Second thing I'm going to do is go to the gym and work out. They're like, what gym? I said, I don't know. A gym. Third thing I'm going to do is start meeting people. And what's the business going to be? How would I know, bro? I don't even know where I'm going.
Were you scared, man? Lee had to have been.
I was terrified, bro. Terrified. And the terror increased. It didn't go away. The terror got worse, because when I got off my plane in Lamar, which is 2 hours outside of Pueblo, when I got off the plane and walked down, I'd shaved my head, and my pilots who spend a lot of time with me and my family, we don't hire, they're not contractors. They're full-time employees. I know them. I know their families. They know my family. They had terror in their eyes for me. Like they were like, they've been a lot of places with me. These guys probably been to 30 countries with me. I mean, we've been through a lot of shit together, but they had this look in their eye like, dude, what have you gotten into now? And then when I went and started the truck they gave me, it's a piece of garbage. I'm like, oh, these people just want to punish me.
Now, you sold cars back in the day, and you train cars, and you have all sorts of programs that still exist today. I think I told you I sold cars right out of college. Can you fix cars? Do you have any idea how to? I can't even change a tire.
I can't fix. I don't even know what a battery is. Is that up front or is that in the back?
Well, it all depends on which car you're driving for you, though, right?
I mean, like this is an old truck, dude. This is an old truck. This is not, you start it with a button, and there was no GPS in it. Like it was garbage. And in fact, there was no heater in it. When I got to Pueblo, it was 15 degrees. There's no heater. I have no place to sleep. And then I got really scared, because I'm like, okay, because I thought I was going to bring my kids and my wife out there like in the first 4 or 5 days. And I told Discovery over and over, this has got to be a family show. My family's got to be there with me. My family goes everywhere with me. And then when I got there, I realized I can't bring my family here. It's too dangerous. I was in danger for the first probably 45 days. It would have been too risky to have my family in the situation, just because food was a problem.
Yeah.
I live on beans and rice for 90 days, man.
It's amazing.
There's no Starbucks. There's no Starbucks stops. There's no freaking Danishes. I mean, I'll tell you another really hard thing is I learned how soft success makes us.
Yeah.
And, it was a really good, I'm probably going to be the biggest beneficiary of this show, because now I know as long as they speak English where I'm going, or I can speak the language, I'm going to be fine. Everybody should learn this about themselves, their ability to take care of themselves and stay focused on the target. Like I can't emphasize that enough, that the biggest advantage I had is I understood the game. This was a game, and the game was to build $1 million business. When you guys see me do the math in the first days, and then see how it turns out in the end, you're going to be like, dude, that guy predicted on day one what he would do. You won't see it come to fruition until the end. But I make some predictions early on that actually happen. And I can promise you, discovery and the production had zero to do with it.
You know, the thing too, I think for those of you who are watching and listening and, maybe a little bit about Grant, I've been following him for a long time. And, one of the things about Grant too, that maybe people don't know is he was not born with money. His wife didn't come from money. He didn't have access to money. His father died when Grant was 10 years old. So he's talked about it as, he's had addiction issues. So he didn't just he wasn't just born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He's the classic entrepreneur that has built a business, not by himself, but he started essentially, kind of going all in on himself. And so I want people to really understand that. So when you Google Grant and when you see the stuff and you see all the things that he has, he is the epitome of a self-made man. And so again, I think that's really important for people to understand. So you said target, right? We got to focus on the target. So I'm laid off. I mean, we're still in the midst of a pandemic. I'm laid off. I'm in danger of losing my house. I am having trouble feeding my family. Yeah, I might've just got my $600 stimulus check, but that's going to last me a couple days. What does somebody do? Like, what do you do right now? Like to get out of it? Because it's not essentially, you are in a worse off situation than most people are in right now. What do you do? Like, so how do you start?
The first thing you do is you get rid of your liabilities. Liabilities, most people think when I say that, they mean debt. I don't mean debt. I mean, get rid of the things that are impairing you from winning the game. We've all played games before. What are the rules again? Tell me how to play again. Like, same thing in business and success. What are the rules of the game? The rules. And then the guy's like, you got to do X, Y, and Z. And the next thing you know, this guy's buying a house. Dude, buying a house ain't X, Y, and Z. One of the things you brought up, guy can't make his house payment. He shouldn't have bought a house. Right. Fucking stupid. Okay. You want to go build a business and you want to be successful. And the next thing you know, you're saving money and starting a retirement account. I'm like, well, why are you doing a retirement account? Fuck, that wasn't the game. The game was to create financial freedom, and nobody's ever done that with a retirement account. Sure. Like, America's doing stupid shit that makes themselves slaves. And so the reason I took that $100 and brought it to the bank wasn't to save it. It was to get rid of it. So I didn't use it. So I didn't depend on an old dead Ben Franklin for my survival, because no one needs money to make money. You don't need money. You need courage, and you need a strategy, and you need urgency. And those are three things that I had for going for me that most people don't. But 90 days was not a deficit. It was my biggest asset. 90 days, 89 days, 88 days, 87 days. I call my wife and kids, hey guys, don't talk to me. Don't call me. It's the next 90 days, head down, support me, love me, pray for me. Tell me to stay in the game. When I want to quit, tell me just go. But most people don't have those things going for them. They got a lot of excuses and a lot of problems and a lot of people around them giving them bad advice. They miss the strategy. They don't have the urgency, and they have a lot of liabilities that they don't want to get rid of.
I think one of I know we're going to let you go in a minute, but I think one of the big things that I just got away from, that I just took away from that is that you believe in yourself, right? You believe in what you can do. Like you mentioned earlier that, that you're going to be okay, because you can, because you had the courage. And I think, when you talk about, getting rid of the liabilities, those are tough decisions, right? A lot of people have trouble making tough decisions, but if you want to excel, if you want to grow, I mean, look, you make tough decisions all day long. I make tough decisions as well. Nobody likes to make them, but in order to grow, in order to survive, you have to make those tough decisions, right? How does someone, and I'll let you go, I want to keep you forever, but how does someone assess the tough decision that they need to make? Because I think a lot of times people don't even know that they need to make the tough decision. Like I got hurt in 2016 really bad. I built this massive house in a private neighborhood, and I grew up in the projects here in this town, and I'm all proud. And my neighbor, I come in and I'm bumping Ice Cube. I'm a fish out of water. And like shortly thereafter, I had to put my house in the market because I got hurt really bad. Fortunately, we got out of it and we're okay. That was really difficult for me to do. And it hurt my pride, my ego, everything. But I did it because I knew it was the tough decision. I knew I had to do it. How do you assess the tough decisions that one needs to make?
You just got to be clear on the on the outcome you desire, Mike. Like, this is what I've referenced this 3 or 4 times now. I was clear on the goal. The goal was to build $1 million business in 90 days. It wasn't to make friends. It wasn't to be comfortable. It was not to buy a house. It was not, dude, it was to build $1 million business. Then it's like, and you have 90 days. Okay. And that's the only rules. You can't use your name, can't use your contacts, can't use your credit cards. You can't use anybody you know can't help you. You can't use your name. You got to build $1 million business. That was the only rules. Like, they gave me a phone and an old truck and $100. I'm like, I'm gonna sell my phone. They're like, oh, you can't sell the phone. I said, that's my phone. I said, I'm gonna sell the truck. You can't sell the truck. They're like, we need you to have a truck, dude. That's your TV show. Y'all figure that bullshit out. Like, all this shit is mine. I can do whatever I want.
Why do I get the sense that you would not be brought back on that show?
Well, I think they'll probably do something else with me, because I think America is going to be like, if you guys watch the show, I guarantee you, love me or hate me, you're going to tell other people to watch this show, because you're going to see there's going to be millions of people that are going to be like, oh shit, I cannot believe he just pulled that off. Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Discovery Channel. It's called Undercover Billionaire. Guys, don't miss it. If you ever believe even this much the American dream is alive and well, I'm gonna prove it to you Wednesday night.
That's it. That's a great way to end it again. My name is Michael Alden. That's Grant Cardone. You are listening to the Alden Report. I want to thank you again for being my guest. Again, for those who are listening, who are watching, Grant's going to do something special for our listeners and our viewers. If you go ahead and text Grant to 978-999-3113. Again, text Grant to 978-999-3113. He's going to give you his book, The 10X Rule. I'm also going to give you my book, Ask More, Get More, because my book, Ask More, Get More, really got me to Grant and helped me develop a relationship with Grant. I hope you learn from this. And again, and lastly, I'm going to let Grant end this thing. But before I do, if you feel as though this has added value to your life, if you feel as though that this could add value to someone else's life, and what I'd like to ask you to do is I'd like to ask you to share it, to rate it, to like it, to subscribe, do all that stuff you're supposed to do with podcasts. And again, I know he's going to say it one more time, I think, but again, this Wednesday night, 8 p.m. on the Discovery Channel, Undercover Billionaire. Now, if you're listening to this after the fact, that's okay, because there will be reruns, and there's also an app. You can download it, check out the episode. Grant, I want you to end it, lead this thing out.
Yeah, the app is it's Discovery Plus's app, so you can grab the app. I think it's $5 a month. There's a bunch of good. They're going to keep building out their entrepreneurial channel over there at Discovery, so they're really committed to that. So there's other good content that they're going to be dropping there. You'll also get to follow 2 other women that try the same thing that I do at the same time. That wasn't planned, but because of COVID, as they were shooting 2 more shows, they had time to drop all these together. So you're not going to just see me. If you hate my guts, dude, post something below. It's fine. I don't care if you like me or not. I just want people to learn, hey, like me or don't like me, I'm going to show you that this thing is possible. This dream of prosperity and possibility, it's there, and if you don't like my style, that's fine. There's 2 other women that are going to try to do the same thing at the same time. And they come from different walks of life. Glenn Stearns did it last year. He did it in a different way. It's good that other people go out there and try to make, to prove that this thing is real. And if they can't prove it, at least share with you strategies they're trying. There's a million teachers, people teaching you how to do it. There's very few people saying, watch me. So like me or don't like me, I'm good. I'm good either way. I just hope you guys get yours, and I hope the show somehow helps you figure out what your strategy is. Mike, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you. My name is Michael Alden. That's Grant Cardone, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Mike.